Okay, well, Shelby, welcome to Happy and Healthy. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to my house.
Okay, for those that are not watching this on YouTube, you can see that my background is different. I'm actually in Shelby's house in LA.
So happy to have her back here in LA.
I know, back in my little homie. Shelby, so Shelby and I, backstory, used to be neighbors. Right when I moved to LA, you were the one that was like, yo, we have this spare house. Y'all should move in. And I moved into the basement, which we did not like.
Basement was not good, but
it wasn't fun.
That was a fun time living near so many
fun.
people. Yeah.
It was like the sorority street. Okay, so yeah, quick backstory. This is Shelby Church. Shelby, tell them who you are.
I'm a YouTuber. I've done YouTube for like since I was 14. And yeah, I do tech lifestyle videos, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I've done it for so long that it's gone from like the saturation era, like beauty type of videos, to photography videos, to like now more tech, sometimes business related.
And like home stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, or like
renovations.
True, yeah. Just whatever seems interesting to make a video about, like Resort Pass, like testing out random new technology apps and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Shelby is one of the most creative people I know. I know you're kind of going through a dry spell, which we are going to talk about. But yeah, Shelby and I pretty much go way back. Like, we both grew up on YouTube together. You were probably one of the first people I started watching, you and Monica. So she has a twin sister named Monica. Monica's also a YouTuber. Mm-hmm. And did you guys have a collab channel, or was it still separate growing up?
We didn't. No, we had separate channels growing up.
Okay, yeah. And she was Aerodynamic.
Yeah.
And you were just Shelby Church, right? Oh, no.
Was teen makeup tips. Like, I was thinking, I'm like, what are people searching for? Like,
so even back then, your brain was still thinking that.
Kind of, yeah. Because I was like, that's what I was watching when I was 14. And,
that's so funny. You went for the trendy name of like, what are people watching, versus I was like, how can I do a play in my name? I did Jeanine Girl 94. Why did I do that?
It's not, it sounds like an AIM screen name, but I think that's actually why I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I did it, because I just transferred my username from AIM over to YouTube. So
you don't feel like embarrassed of yours though, right? Because
I'm still pretty embarrassed. I'm like, did I need to let everybody know that I was a girl and that I was born in 94?
Jeanine Girl 94.
Like, it could have just been like Jeanine, which now it's just Jeanine Amapola. But I remember there was a switch on the internet where everyone was like, ditch the usernames, just go straight to your name. I remember it was like a monumental moment.
YouTube made us do it. They were like, names now.
Oh, they did do that. That's why. I remember I was like, why did Alicia change her name to Mac Baby to Alicia Marie? I was like, why did she do that? And everyone started doing it. So
glad they did, though.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, same. I'm really glad. Jeanine Girl 94 needed to die forever ago.
If my channel's name was still Teen Makeup Tips, it would just be like, what? There's no makeup videos here.
Yeah, all the tech people would have been like, what? Huh? This does not correlate. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so basically, Shelby and I grew up on the internet together, and we met at the first BeautyCon 2013. It was the first time I ever came out to LA. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in LA. Like, it was like so magical to me at that time. And we met at the YouTube space. Mm-hmm. And that was when like there was like the prime people of like Gigi Gorgeous was still popping off at that time. I'm trying to think who else was trendy at that time. It was like 8 years ago.
Blair in them?
Ellen Blair, probably. Yeah. Oh, like Ingrid Nelson.
Yeah.
Bethany Moda. Like, it was like that era.
Icons. Yeah. All of them.
It was so freaking fun. And so, all that to say, we have been through a lot of different stages on YouTube. And I think we've like watched each other evolve. Mm-hmm. And I've seen your YouTube channel change. You've seen mine change. But mine's never been like super, super dramatic. And then you were the first one that moved out. Like, you moved to Orange County first.
Yeah, me and Monica did. Before I guess any of the other like YouTube people moved to California, because I was always like, I need to get out of Washington. It's so rainy here.
Yeah.
Like, even if I didn't do YouTube, I was gonna move. I just was like, since I was like 12, I was like, I need to move to California.
But you also went for school. You weren't just like, I feel like at that time, it wasn't like a trendy thing of like, YouTubers moving to LA.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, you went for school, right?
And Orange County is not LA. It's like an hour outside, if people don't know. But we would go to LA all the time because there was always YouTube events and stuff. Now there never is, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that. Because you've been in YouTube for a while, but you've also been in LA for the last, how long? 6 years?
7 years.
7? Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess Orange County 1 year, so like 6, yeah.
Dang, yeah, you've been in California for
Maybe
a bit.
7.
Yeah, because I feel like right when I moved, which was 2018, so yeah, Shelby and I were neighbors. She lived in the house next door. I ended up moving into my own place shortly after that, or maybe a year after that. But I feel like that first year when I moved out there, it was like event after event after event.
There were so many then.
So dang many to where I remember Keith.
It was actually too much.
It was too much. So we actually share the same agent. Shout out to Keith. We love Keith.
The best.
And so yeah, we share the same agent. And I remember right when I moved out there, he had told me, he was like, I'm just warning you, if you move out to LA, you're going to be super distracted. Like, you need to keep your head on straight. You need to keep like the same schedule. And I was like, no, I'll be fine. And then he was the one that was like, you need to stop going to all these events. Like, you're wasting your time.
Okay, events that are in the middle of the day, I would say that's really true because it's going to take you 20,
4
30
hours
minutes to get there, and then you're going to be there for a little bit, or, you know, it's like, that is like prime productive hours.
It is.
I think an evening event is totally fine, though.
I loved those ones. Like, you got to get dressed up, and there was like food and drinks or whatever, like some cool products, and you got to see like all your YouTube friends. But the other ones, it was so fun. But traffic in LA is ridiculous to where you have to calculate, okay, we're going to be sitting in traffic for 3 hours. And I think the worst was when brands would do the events starting at 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, don't you know that's like prime traffic hour? Yeah. So that's when you had to for sure be like, this is 3 hours of traffic.
I know. And like where I live now, I was like, oh, when events come back, this will be so convenient because normally there would be a lot over here.
Yeah.
But there's still really not any.
Yeah. No. So how would you say YouTube is for you right now? Because you've been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah.
What stage do you feel like you're in at right now? Because I think as a YouTuber, we go through so many different stages.
I am not in the best stage. Like, I'm not in my most inspired, like, excited.
Motivated. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's so weird because when COVID hit, a lot of people were like that. They were like, how do I make videos at home or whatever? But I wasn't. I still had a ton of ideas, and I was like, honestly, good. So I feel like I had a delayed reaction to that, where now I'm like, I've kind of done, I think, all the videos I can think of that are going to be interesting in how things are now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have like done some videos where I traveled, like I went to Dallas and made a video about like Californians leaving Texas.
Yeah, she did. Which I did. I was that person that left.
Yeah.
She should have interviewed me, but it's fine.
know.
No, I was kidding. Who did you interview that week again?
Sarah Dietschy and a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
So you feel
I
like
wanted
you're just,
to interview you, but you know.
But we had some complications.
Scheduling.
Yeah. There were some complications.
Yeah.
Okay, so you feel like you're in the stage where you're just like not motivated. At what point, because your channel drastically changed. You went from, you know, like as we were saying, like the teen makeup tips, beauty, fashion. At what point, because I remember, I think I was living next to you, and you almost had this like quarter life crisis where you were like, what am I doing? I don't think I want to do YouTube anymore.
I was like taking classes.
Yeah, you were like going back to school.
Yeah.
I
feel like
what
happened? Like again. But it was a good thing because then my videos ended up a lot better and like,
yeah.
So maybe that's what's about to happen, but it sucks to go through. I'm like, this is not fun.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I feel like every 3 or 4 years, if you're doing the same creative job, it's kind of normal to like burn out if things are sort of the same. And
yeah,
even if they're not, like, even if you're like have the coolest job in the world, you're gonna feel burned out at some point. Like, I'm sure Justin Bieber feels burned out.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, poor thing.
It doesn't matter. So back then, it made me think, oh, maybe this isn't meant for me anymore. Like, maybe I shouldn't do this. I kind of thought my channel was dying, and I was like, I don't know. Like, if I'm not inspired, I probably shouldn't do it anymore. No, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it could be. Like, yeah, if you really hate it and, like, maybe you never liked it and you were just doing it for the money. Like, I feel like people have things like that. Then that could be the case. But I just changed a lot of things, like switched things up, started doing kind of whatever video. I felt like they weren't doing that well anyway, none of them, even the ones that used to normally do well. So I was like, well, whatever, I guess I'll just do
I got nothing left to lose, so why not?
So I did some videos that were like photography videos, like how to use your camera, because I was like, what do I know a lot about? Like, I knew a lot about that from taking film classes, and it was something different, and it also kind of forced me to collaborate more with other people, because when I was doing like DIY type videos and stuff, it'd be like basically me going to Michael's, get the supplies for it, make it. Like, you can just do it.
So glad that phase is over.
I know. I was not good at them either.
I hated doing them, but I did them because I was like, all right, well, like, you got to keep up. You got to do it anyway. But now looking back, like, hated those videos.
Okay, I feel like back then there was a really weird, like, almost like a hustle culture thing around those beauty guru saturation era people. They'd be like, gotta stay up till midnight and like make your thumbnail. And it was like not healthy.
No, I kid you not. I was balancing college and making these videos. There would be times where I would be filming until 3 a.m. because I was like, this is the only time. Like, I'm a full-time student. I got a boyfriend. I'm in cheerleading. I'm in a sorority. I had no other time than on a Tuesday night filming till 3 a.m. So I feel that.
Yeah.
That was me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, the hustle culture started early.
Well, and I feel like what was the weirdest thing is it seemed like no one really liked those videos.
No. And I'm like, who actually really did try them? Like, were they more for just entertainment, or did people actually genuinely try the DIYs?
I actually thought they were fun to make, but the process of filming them and making them
and cleaning up afterwards too.
It's so annoying.
Buying the products. There were a couple of mine that I feel like actually turned out pretty good, where I was like, oh, I'm really proud of this, and like some people really did recreate them. But I think now looking back, I'm like, dang, Jeanine, like you grinded. Like I don't think I would have done that now. I commend like Laura DIY, because that's still so her brand. She still crushes it, and I'm like, that is freaking awesome. If that is still your thing,
she was always good at them too.
Oh, she's genuinely good, and now she got like a whole show and a whole brand off of it. Versus for me, I'm like, I think that was more of like a season.
She must actually like it. I think the rest of us were like, it was fun for a little bit, but I feel like if you don't have like that much passion for something and you just kind of like it, then it's not gonna be fun to film it too and edit it and
totally. Yeah. So do you feel like you're in your passion now?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know what videos to make, sort of. Like, I have some ideas, and I'm like, I can do these. Like, they'll be pretty fun, but I'm not like, I feel like a year or two ago, I was so much more in it. Yeah. And I'm like, what happened? Like, oh.
It is weird, though, because, I don't think a lot of people understand, because again, I think with this job there's so many eyeballs on you. There's a lot of people expecting, hey, you said you're going to drop a video every week, I want it to be good. A lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't see, and there's a lot of pressure to perform 24/7, which is why the whole creator burnout thing is so real, because eventually you're like, there are no more ideas left in this brain. Like, there's nothing left. And that's actually kind of why I started hiring somebody, because I was like, I feel like I've been doing a lot of the same stuff. Like, I need a new, fresh pair of eyes to come in and be like, okay, Jay, like, what you're doing is not working. And here's how I'm going to, like, help you, like, give you a little boost. Because I do think at some point, when we've been doing this for as long as we've been doing this for 10, 11 years, you're just like, okay, I've done pretty much everything there is to do.
And if you think about it, I'm going to hire someone, like, very, very soon, because I'm kind of feeling that same way, where I'm like, if you are working with someone, it will just make it even more creative if it's the right person. Like, it's like a synergistic thing, whatever. If you think about, like, anything other than YouTube that's, like, media, like a documentary or a movie, TV show, whatever, they'll have, like, 5 writers for it or more, or whatever.
That's such a good point.
They have so many people collaborating on it to make it the best it can be. So it's kind of crazy that we're, like, just us and, like, thinking, like, that's the best it could be. It could probably be better with, like, a couple other, I don't know.
Yeah, like, basically just hiring, like, an entire creative team. But people don't talk about how expensive that is, because I've looked into the prices and I was like, holy. Like, I had a creative director and it was a pretty dang penny.
Wait, how much was it?
It was $1,500 a month, which is like, it's like rent.
So she wasn't full-time then?
No, basically with her, I was able to come to her for anything and be like, hey, she would be like, okay, we should try this on TikTok. We should try this on Reels. We should try this on YouTube. And she really did help me push out of my comfort zone, which was awesome. But it's definitely hard, because then you start conflicting of like, she's like, I think you should do this. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Like, that doesn't really align with my beliefs or like my values, or I just simply don't want to make that video. But she's like, yeah, but this is a really good idea. And that's where I was always struggling of like, I don't really want to do that. But she's like, but you should. And I'm like, okay, and I know I'm paying you. I want to get the most out of this money. So maybe I'm just going to do it, but you don't really like it and you do it. And I think your viewers can tell.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. Interrupting today's episode to talk about our sponsor, which is Upward. Thank you so much, Upward, for sponsoring today's episode. Now, if you are single like me, you're a Christian single and you are ready to mingle, then Upward is for you. It is the #1 Christian dating app. It is open to all denominations. It is perfect for anyone under 35 that is looking to date and to meet some other Christian singles out there. And if you're looking for someone that just wants to put Jesus at the center, Upward might have your match. It is free. It's super easy to use. You just download it. You make a profile in minutes and chat with others that want to put their faith first as well. And it's singles that are near you. And it's really great because as you're using it, you're not having to like weed out, whether they're believers or not believers. For sure you're going to find Christians on there. So download Upward today. I really think you guys are going to like this a lot. And again, thank you so much to Upward for sponsoring today's video. Again, that is Upward, which is UPWARD. Download it today.
Wait, so where are you at? Are you like feeling good about it all? And
oh, the tables have been turned.
I feel like a lot of people are feeling weird.
Yeah. I think I've always had a wrestle with YouTube. I wouldn't say I'm like completely out of love with it. I just think I've always kind of felt very confused with it. And I always feel like so much pressure because I do have a whole team I'm supporting. And, Keith will come to me a lot and be like, okay, like obviously your views are down. What can we do to fix it? And I'm like, okay. And it's just like this constant conversation. And again, I don't feel like I have the same amount of drive and motivation as I used to. Like I used to make it top priority, like have to upload every single Friday consistently, really do the best of the best. And then I started realizing as I got older, I loved vlogging and I still do love vlogging. And so I turned my main channel more into my vlog channel, but I'm still mixing in kind of a combo of both now, which some people have been like, that was the dumbest idea ever. And then some people are like, that was awesome. And so I honestly feel really confused with YouTube because I've done it for so long. And I'm like, I don't really know what's working anymore, but I do know that I love podcasting. This is definitely my favorite thing. Like I love podcasting. I feel super motivated, super excited to get new guests. I love Instagram. I love the whole TikTok thing. YouTube, I feel like is definitely the platform that I'm struggling with the most. And I think it's pretty evident.
Yeah. YouTube is like the most time consuming of them all. Podcasts are really fun. When I had one for 2 seconds, it was fun.
I wanted to talk to you about that at some point.
Yeah. It was fun. God, it was like right in the middle of COVID. So it was like one in-person interview. It's way more fun this way than if you're like on a Zoom call. It works, but it's just different.
Yeah. I was so bummed because I launched my podcast during COVID as well. And before the pandemic, I remember going to the studio. I was at Abrams. I actually filmed a couple of the first episodes in our agency's studio. And I like brought in I think 2 guests or something. And I was like, this is going to be so fun. Like having a podcast in LA, I get to interview all these people, go to the studio. Like it felt like my own little late night
job.
Yeah. It was kind of like this fun little TV show thing I was doing. Mm-hmm. And then the pandemic hit and it was just all the dreams just sort of tanking. Mm-hmm. And my podcast kind of got put on the back burner. And then July of 2020, I was like, okay, no, I want to do this. And so I just committed. But it kind of just, sucked the fun out of it in some sense because I was so excited to like go to the studio and have that whole setup, and it kind of didn't happen.
Yeah.
But,
I know.
you know.
It's so, are you getting tired? We were talking in the car about working from home because we've done it so much longer. Than all these people who are now doing it during COVID and stuff. Or I guess now it seems like it's just like a more permanent thing.
Yeah, because some companies like Twitter, for example, right? They completely remove their headquarters.
Yeah.
And everyone will be forever working from home because that saves them so much overhead.
I'm kind of shocked, though, how people, like, love it so much and don't want to go back. Because I'm, like, having worked mostly from home, I'm, like, I kind of wish I had somewhere to go to and, like, have coworkers or something like that. It just seems nice. But maybe I'm, like, the grass is always greener. Maybe it's not actually that nice.
I was going to say, yeah, there's always, like, everything is so relative, and there's always something that you wish you had, and then you get it, and then you're like, oh, wait, I actually kind of wish I want to go back to that now.
Yeah.
And so it is definitely, like, being just content where you are. But I will say, I mean, we have done this for literally the last 10 years. And so all we know is working from home. And I've had real jobs and stuff before where I've had to go to the office and stuff like that. But I really do like working from home, but I find it very hard. If I want to be super motivated, I find like I need to get out of my house. Yeah. Like if I need to edit or think of ideas or post on the Abide Tribe or just do emails or whatever, it's hard for me to get super focused. Like for me, I have to have like the candle lit, coffee, quietness, the lo-fi music playing in order for me to like really get in my zone. Otherwise, I like a squirrel could walk out my window and I'd be like, squirrel, because I get so distracted and so like ADD. So yeah.
Right. But at a coffee shop, it's like you also can get in the zone.
I totally can. Yeah. I love going and like having the whole vibe of like bringing your books and your glasses and your coffee. And like, it's super good, I think, to have the separation from your bedroom, which was where we work a lot. Like we're literally filming in Shelby's bedroom right now.
I know.
There's not a lot of separation for us a lot of the times.
I tell myself, oh, I'm not going to do this. But like the backyard, I have roommates. So it's like we kind of had to. But it makes it harder to sleep. Like I feel weird when I wake up. I feel like I need to like work.
Right. You see your camera's like over here, like y'all can't see, but she has like her camera on the tripod and everything. Like
I put it away though. Every night. I take away everything.
That's kind of smart.
I clean my room at night, like before I go to sleep, or I like won't sleep.
Yeah. No, I think for me, because I bought this house and I have my bedroom now separate from my office, that has actually helped so much. Because I do feel some sort of separation now to where my office is filming room, podcast room, work. I get a lot of work done there. I have my desktop computer in there. It's super great to get stuff done in there. And then my bedroom is like, that's sleep, that's reading, that's completely different. You know what I mean? So I do think it's super helpful to have that separation.
I need that.
Yeah. But I was going to ask you this and just kind of chat about this. In some sense, too, what makes it hard is that we live with roommates. And so you're kind of confined to your space to where your bedroom is your office. It's your editing room. It's where you sleep. It's where you take meetings. It's where you do everything. How, for you, has it been having roommates being a YouTuber? Because you're sharing everything. And it's hard. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts on that. And I have some thoughts as well. Because I live with Maddie and we both share, we share the house and we're both YouTubers as well.
Right. So I'll still edit in the living room and stuff. But at a certain point, my videos, I do so many voiceovers that I have to go into my room, I feel like, because it's not, well, today I actually kind of did some just in the living area. But I'm like, if someone else is in there taking a call or like, honestly, doing voiceovers is kind of like odd to watch. It's like watching someone make a video. So I'm like, I don't love if there's like other people around.
And it makes you feel uncomfortable when you're doing voiceovers and someone's like secretly listening. Yeah. It definitely alters your voice. You're like, okay, wait, can they leave?
I know. I'm like, I'll do it around like a lot of people. My old roommates, I didn't really care, but I'm just like in this house, I'm like, it's like less comfy.
For sure.
So I do end up shooting more stuff in here. A lot of my videos I shoot out and about, like almost all of them is me like going somewhere or interviewing someone or whatever, but then I'll have like filler clips where I'm like, oh, I forgot to like talk about that, so I need to like do a little bit. But yeah, I don't like feeling like this is the only space. When I first moved in here, I was like, I'm gonna get an office, like a separate office space and make it look really cool. And I thought like COVID was gonna be totally over, everything was gonna be like,
when did you move here again?
Last October.
Okay, yeah. So you moved pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Or
no,
in between the pandemic.
Yeah, it was still, But I was getting jaw surgery, so I was like, well, I'm just going to do that, heal, and then I'll get an office space. But then, like, the lease was halfway up, and now it's like, are we staying? Like, what?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been harder, I guess, to be motivated in just this room. When, I don't know what it was with that other, I had an office space in my old place, and I did focus a lot better in there.
Yeah. There must be some sort of psychological thing with that of just, like, you have to have a separation. Because I find as well, when I am in my office, I'm able to be 10 times more productive. Like, I get everything done, I bust it out. And so I do think there's definitely some sort of psychology behind that. But yeah, is it hard as a YouTuber? And you're a very successful YouTuber. Like, your channel is not unsuccessful. Like, your channel's growing, it's thriving, and that's like your main platform, right?
Yeah. I don't do TikTok or that.
Yeah. I think that's what's hard for me is I feel like I'm spread super thin because I love Instagram. I love fashion. I do the reels. I also love to scroll on TikTok and occasionally post. And then I put a lot of time and effort into my podcast. And then there's the YouTube. So I'm like, oh, I'm super spread thin. I'm a little exhausted. For you, you mainly focus just on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't even post on Instagram that much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I used to more when it was more like traveling and going to things, but yeah, I haven't as much, honestly, since I had jaw surgery, because I felt so weird about my face for a while that I was like, it just isn't fun to take photos when you feel like you know?
Yep.
So, and I didn't want to, like, stress about it. I didn't want to be like, I feel like I need to post, because I don't. I can just post on YouTube. So, yeah, YouTube is, like, the main one. And I feel like that helps, because I noticed if I was posting on my vlog channel more too, my main channel would kind of fall behind a bit. Or when I was working on the house renovation, it was way harder to, I feel like that's what messed me up, honestly. That's what burned me out. That house renovation.
Oh, yeah. She made like a whole series on her channel of like flipping this house in the Palm Springs. And so you're saying that contributed to this burnout?
Yeah, because it was just way more, it was more money than I thought it would be. It was more, I didn't think I was going to be like living in Palm Springs for like most of the year.
You were there for a bit.
Yeah, I like didn't even really live in LA or like in this house. It felt like I was living out of a suitcase. And now that I'm back here, it doesn't really feel like home. I'm like, do I want to live here? Like, it doesn't feel like,
yeah, you've been almost like disoriented for a good bit.
And I hate that. I'm always like, I need to stop traveling because it makes me feel like weird, like I don't have a home. But then you just get tempted into it again.
Totally. You're like, I'm going to stay here. And then you stay for too long. And then you're like, I need to leave and I need to escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
But I think
that.
if you do that too much, it just is like,
it throws off everything.
It makes you feel weird mentally, I think. I don't get how those travel people do that.
I don't either.
Like nonstop, constantly.
I stayed in Dallas all of the month of July, which was really, really good. And like I've noticed as soon as I stayed, friend just became more consistent. My other stuff became more consistent. I was working a lot harder. Like I was able to get a lot more done. And I was like, wow, this is what it's like to not leave. And of course I do love traveling. It's super fun. It's definitely such a privilege to be able to travel as much as we do. But for sure, like not having a routine, I feel like can just throw off everything.
Yeah. And it's tiring. Like if you go on a trip and I mean, no, I feel like it's mostly just air travel that does this, but it's like physically, you're not going to feel 100% the next day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would always force myself though. I'm like, if it's a Monday, I like need to get some stuff done, but I'm like, you just feel tired. Like it.
Yeah. You're just super out of it. And
yeah.
your stuff is everywhere from the suitcase and
yeah,
totally get it. Okay. I have another question. So what has life been like living in LA as still a YouTuber post, I guess we are still in this pandemic. What has that been like for you? Because it has changed significantly, like we were saying. Like, there's not events much anymore. Like, what has that been like for you living here still as a YouTuber?
I feel like it was more fun before.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, some people moved too. Like, Jeanine moved. Tara also moved.
I know a lot of people that left.
Dang. I feel like some other people did, but I can't remember. But, yeah, like that's like sad. It really kind of made me think like, is everyone just gonna leave eventually? Like probably, but
that's sad.
I hope not.
It won't be the same.
Yeah, I like California is the thing. I'm like LA, yeah, maybe not forever, but I'm like I love the weather and like
I know.
Yeah,
man.
But it's more important to be like where your people are. Like it's not fun to be here and like not have friends. It's not fun at all.
No.
I mean, you can always make more, but with COVID, like that is really hard.
Totally. And I think the city is only as good as the people that you're surrounded with.
Yeah.
Like you could be like in this mansion, but if you have nobody, then like what is that good for? So yeah, there's not like as many events, which I do think the events are starting to come back. Like Maddie and I are going to a White Fox event on Thursday, which now they do like there's just different rules. Like you have to make an appointment and wear masks the whole time and all that stuff. So it's just very different. But I feel like we were in LA of just like the prime of like going to the events and like movie premieres, and we did like the Golden Globes together, which was really fun.
Yeah, there was like always something. It felt like around
YouTube
the
trips
corner that would be fun. Which I'm like we're really privileged for that.
I know. No, seriously, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wow, like what are we complaining about? I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying like we definitely had some really cool things.
Yeah, I know, but I did take it for granted then.
Oh, for
and
sure.
It's not even as much of the like, oh, it's a cool like fancy event or whatever, but it was just a nice way to see your friends and like
people.
It was like it got people together where it is harder to without that.
Yeah.
And with COVID where people are like so comfortable in their houses and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to get people out now.
Yeah, like some
really
people
hard.
are dying to. I've noticed, which I'm like fun, but some are like no.
Some people have become like really big homebodies now.
People in relationships are, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's funny because when I moved back to Dallas, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with all my single girls, and literally right when I moved back,
single girl?
No, there was none. Like literally all the girlfriends that I was planning on hanging out with when I moved back were all like dating someone like that, and then I never saw them ever again. And I was like,
okay, it
hello?
sucks that is kind of how it is sometimes.
It'd be like that.
I will give a shout out to our friend Lauren. Like, she has a boyfriend, but she's not like that.
I love people like that.
Yeah.
There has to be a balance. There has to be. Yeah, I get a little weirded out with people that just ditch literally everyone as soon as they get a boyfriend. Like, okay, nice knowing you.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I mean, even if they're not fully like that, it is always a little bit different.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always, like, single, so I'm like, no, like...
Yeah.
Sucks, but
okay,
like, it sucks if my friends are I'm happy for them unless they start being all like
or if they're like all this like PDA in front of you and you're like, okay, can y'all like get a room?
Okay, like don't need that.
Exactly. Okay, I have 2 more points and we can kind of start wrapping up. Okay, one, I just wanted to ask again because I tried to touch upon this earlier and I don't think we really did. So how is it like sharing a house with a ton of other influencers or just other people? Because I know for me personally, like I live with Maddie and we have to coordinate schedules because there's days where I'm filming and then she's filming and then she has her assistant over. I have my assistant over. There's like always something going on and it makes it really, really hard. And I came from living alone for 2 years to where I was like, I can do whatever I want. I can bring people over. I can have my assistant. But now I'm like, I had to like coordinate with Maddie. Like, Maddie, I'm filming today. Maddie, I'm filming a podcast. Hey, can you be quiet? Like, it's so weird having to do that.
Yeah.
It's like
even
part of our
with
jobs.
your office, it's like that kind of.
Yeah, because our walls are pretty thin and we always just try to be on the same page of just like, hey, want to let you know this person's coming over. I'm filming this brand deal. Hey, can you be quiet? And so it's like hard having to, it's not, okay, I try not to sound like petty, being like, my life is so hard, but you have to constantly like chat with a person and communicate. Otherwise you are filming and you hear someone on the phone upstairs and you're like, can you be quiet? Can you be quiet, please?
Yeah. Here, I don't even film that much in that living room because I'm just like, it kind of is more hassle than it's worth sometimes. Like if I'm filming something at my house, unless I need the kitchen, like I can also probably get that shot either outside or in my room. Yeah. Because most of the stuff I'm recording is like out and about. Like if I look at all my videos, it's like, okay, going somewhere random. Yeah. So yeah, I don't. But it does make it so I'm like, I probably am not getting maybe the best shots. Like if I lived alone, then I would like have, I don't know, I'd probably set up like backdrops and stuff. But put it away. Yeah. I mean,
good old backdrops. Forgot about those.
Well, I like sometimes having just like a plain.
Yeah. It is nice. It looks really professional.
Yeah. For certain shots.
I haven't used my backdrops in a bit. Like, I think I probably used them when I first moved to LA. I bought like a whole set. And I feel like that was at that point in that point of YouTube where like everyone had like this super fancy, like Jeffree Star had like the ombre lighting and like this super nice clean background. I was like, oh, I want to do that. And like I have not used it in literally 3 years.
I know.
But it does help having a backdrop, I think. Like a nice white one is good for like photo shoots and stuff like that.
I get like a lot of random B-roll shots of like, I don't know, my phone. I'll do so many things where it's like, I found this app. And so I'm like, a nice background that's like clean for that would be nice.
Yeah, that makes a good point. Okay, last question I want to ask you is, what is dating in LA like?
Especially as a YouTuber.
I mean.
No, I went on a date last night and the guy was like, I did some light stalking. I was like,
I hate that.
You saw.
Okay, dating as a YouTuber is hard.
Well, it's hard. I feel like normally you can tell if they've looked you up, which is like, I think most people like, I mean, sometimes I will maybe, because I'm like, I don't know, is this person?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Yeah. So that's just kind of weird because you're like, what did you watch, like my oldest video?
I know. Or, I'm like, what did you find?
Or like get an idea in your head that's like different, or are you like also wanting to start a YouTube channel? Exactly. I gotta go.
And out here, you almost kind of have to question their intentions because there are so many people that are looking for followers and fame, and they're, I guess you could say, clout chasers. And I mean, I've heard of like relationships where like guys have just solely dated a girl just to get followers, and it works.
So obvious.
It's so dang obvious, and y'all can probably think if you were like an avid YouTube watcher, like you know who some of these couples were.
Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious. But I have my guard up like 10 times more when I'm dating. And in Dallas, what's hard is the difference between Dallas and LA. Is LA, everyone knows about it. They're like, okay, cool, yeah, you're a YouTuber, dope. In Dallas, they're like, what?
Okay, like, I guess I prefer them to know, like, in LA. Because at least they're like, oh, that's, like, kind of cool.
Yeah, but Dallas, they think you're like, so freaking weird. They're like, I was hoping to, like, date a nurse. And I'm like, well, then I'm not the girl for you.
Yeah.
I ain't it.
Yeah, that's not it at all. No, but I feel like dating in LA is difficult. Like, any big city. I've heard New York is just as bad. Mm-hmm. You know, people are just focused on themselves here, which is
and their careers. And
yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, I don't feel like anyone really wants to settle down here. They're just like, yeah, I'll go on a date with you, but they don't really have any intentions of like actually being serious or it maybe going somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think people are scared of commitment out here low key. Like I think everyone wants to be in a relationship, but they're still scared of commitment.
I think that's pretty true. But I definitely have met a lot of people that have gotten into relationships here. I'm like,
yeah.
But I mean,
worked out for Lauren.
I know one friend who went on like 100 dates before she met her boyfriend.
No.
Yeah.
Is she still dating him?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm like, I don't feel like I have that time or the honestly willingness to put in the effort of.
I think I'd be so exhausted of like them asking the same question every single time of like, so what do you do? Where are you from? I would be like, here's this piece of paper that has all my information. Just read this and then come back to me.
I know. No, it's crazy. So
yeah, dating here is definitely difficult. It didn't work out for me when I lived here. Didn't work out.
I feel like a lot of people leave because ultimately they're like, this is not. Maybe they figured out what they want in their career or whatever, and then they're like, yeah, this is not good for dating.
I think partially that's why I left. I was like,
probably.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't getting married if I stay here.
Yeah, which I'm like, I'm not like too worried about that. Yeah, but like,
you don't gotta be worried about it.
It's too bad that it's like that here.
It is. It's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame. Well, Shelby, thanks for being on my podcast.
Yeah, happy to
I know that was just open conversation, but if you've watched Shelby for a while, I'm sure you're a big fan and you're excited to hear this podcast. If you don't know who Shelby is, Shelby, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Shelby Church. Just search that. I'm on Instagram too, but like, I mean, yeah, actually follow that because I have home renovation stuff. It's fun.
Oh yeah, check it out.
But mostly YouTube. That's where I'm at.
Okay, awesome. And yeah, again, my links are all down below if you want to check my stuff out. And yeah, definitely check out Shelby's videos. She has like super informative, fun videos. Like you're like, seriously, I was saying you're like one of the most creative people I know. I know you're like in like your burnout season.
I know, I'm like, I'm not creative.
No, but I really, she's like, stop putting that label on me. But I really do think
I'll take it. No.
Yeah, I think you're just in a little dry season, and as am I feel like.
Yeah,
but
definitely in a weird moment, but
Well, we'll get through it as we always do, because I've seen us both go through these, and
me too. I know. I'm like,
we've conquered
I've gone through this before. Like it will be fine, but it definitely.
It doesn't feel fun though when you're in it. You're like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
totally get it. We'll get through it.
Yeah.
All right.
All good.
Thanks, Shelby, for being on the podcast. Again, I post these every single Tuesday. So if you guys want to listen again, see you next Tuesday. And until then, stay happy and healthy. Bye, guys.